Okay, how's it going? I'm gonna give just a quick little review of my watching of the live action performance of Yu Yu Hakusho that Netflix just put out. It came out today, earlier today, and just gonna go through some pros and cons about how I felt about it. So here we go. I will start with the pros because everybody likes to hear pros. The CGI I thought wasn't very terrible. It was all right. It wasn't like amazing, but for what it is, it was pretty good. Uh, like Elder Tagoro, when you get to the scene where he like splits apart and he like does his thing, it's pretty well CGI'd. And Yusuke's and Kuwabara's spirit animations are pretty good, as well as the Dragon of Darkness Flames really good as well. I really like the pacing of the first two episodes. It cut out a lot of the what I felt when I watched the anime, just kind of hung on. And I thought the pacing of the first two episodes was really good. The first episode basically wrapped up from about what I thought it was, and the second episode as well. Uh, there's a little difference in this version. He's not 14, which is probably good because a lot of the fight scenes are they get pretty cut up and stuff. And people probably would have an issue if he was actually supposed to be 14 in this actual version of the Yu Yu Hakusho. I thought overall the acting was good. All the actors seemed to play their parts pretty well, and it didn't seem like it was any like bad acting. None of the writing seemed really bad either. So the fight scenes are really good. I actually liked pretty much all the fight scenes that were in the TV show. I liked them all. And then there's also my favorite version of Koenma, which is not the baby version, which is like the teenage version. That's the one they went with. And pretty much for pros, that's what I'm gonna wrap up. I can't really think of anything else. I just finished watching it, which is pretty bad because I can't really think of more of the pros. But you'd have to make the decision on your own. All right, going to cons. When you start to get into episodes 3, 4, and 5, I felt the pacing was a bit rushed. They clumped arcs together. They left some stuff out, which I thought was pivotal to some people, some characters, like progression of power. Uh, I just wasn't a huge fan of the pacing of the episodes after the second episode. And there are only 5 episodes, so I guess they tried to clump all they needed into the 5 episodes, so they cut a lot of the middle stuff out. Um, there was no Genkai's tournament. Spoilers. Sorry. Uh, what I thought was good for Kuwabara, because I showed a lot of Kuwabara's actual growth during the Genkai basically selection tournament. It wasn't in there. They just basically went to Genkai, and Genkai was like, all right, let's train. They trained for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then, it went on with the story. Uh, Starting from basically the end of episode 3 into 4 and 5, they clumped the Dark Tournament and the Saving Yukino just together into one big arc. So instead of them being like separate, and then at the end when they're saving Yukino, like he faces Tagoro, and Tagoro's like, "Yeah, you're weak. Come see me in the Dark Tournament." They just do all that in episodes basically 4 and 5, which is kind of a letdown because a lot of the Dark Tournament they have like really unique characters and it shows a lot of growth for Yusuke himself. So I felt like that kind of growth was just not there, and Yusuke just kind of gets his power just all in one. Uh, a little issue for me, it's probably nothing, but Kuwabara didn't have his normal hairstyle, which I assume was going to happen because that's probably a pain. on like the hairstylist to always have it on every scene. But he didn't have his traditional hairstyle. But other than that, Kuwabara, was acting like Kuwabara. The Jigan Eye, they never really go over the Jigan Eye. They go over the mirror and they go over the orb. But how he gets like the Jigan Eye and all about the Jigan Eye, they don't actually go over anything about it. He just kind of gets it, doesn't really use it, or he uses it technically to track down his sister, and then that's about the last time he uses the Jigan Eye. He doesn't like use it in combat or anything. He just keeps his headband on and basically never shows the eye. And then pretty much the only other thing that I felt like is I've where they ended it. I feel like I don't think there's going to be a season two. I would hope that there's a season two, but you know they just kind of did their business, finished with the Tagoro stuff, and then it just like cuts to them like wrapping everything up on like a boat, and then that's that. There's a little ending scene like after some of the credits roll, but that's like I didn't feel like that's gonna really get anything. That's more of like a Easter egg type thing. But the only real big plot points remaining would be the former Spirit Detective saga stuff and the Three Kings in the Demon World. And if anything, if it's anything like this, if they do like another 5 episodes, I feel like basically those plot points will be wrapped up very quickly. Uh, I kind of wish it was more than 5 episodes, but I don't know when they started filming. I don't know if there was like maybe they started filming like during COVID and they had to stop and something happened. But compared to the One Piece live action that they did, I had to feel like if I had to compare them side by side, I would say the One Piece one is better. Even though I felt like sometimes it was slightly rushed in the One Piece one, this I felt like it was very rushed. I felt like they could have got at least two more episodes in this. They probably could have went the full 8, and they would have been fine. But they didn't decide to do that. Maybe it was budget. Maybe it was timing. Uh, I'm not really sure what was going on with that. But I think overall, I would rate the live action of Yu Yu Hakusho. I give it like even with all the cons, which rush plot. I don't really like rush plots. I think I'd give it around like a 6 or a 7, because even though it was rushed, it is carried by the fights are good and the CGI is like not terrible. I don't know how you guys feel about CGI, but I didn't feel like the CGI was like horrendous. Like it kind of reminded me of like Parasite in a little bit, because Elder Tagoro does some stuff and it reminded me of Parasite, and I didn't think it looked too bad. And a lot of the spirit stuff is it was nice. It wasn't like like dog shit. But yeah, I'd give it like a 6 or a 7. I feel like it was too rushed at the end, and if they would have went like 7 or 8 episodes, I felt like it would have been like the perfect length, kind of like they did with the One Piece one. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Uh, Let me know if you think that I'm wrong. I probably am. I have no idea. This is just my opinion. But let me know in the comments below. And thanks for watching. Bye.